My topic would be in trying to inspire leadership and, whoops, did I go backwards? And inspiring leadership within your teams, I would say you've already heard from all of these wonderful speakers everything that you need to know. It's about following the system, following your great leaders. We're so blessed to have such great leadership, David and Stacy and Marcy and Peter, and just put it to action. So my presentation is over. Just kidding. So if you watch though, right, and then follow, it's that simple and it's not easy, like Amy said. You can have that trust and have that faith because you see that it is working, obviously. And there will be ups and downs, so you have to have a little determination, but you have that community. Like was already said, this is our family, and during the downs you can get picked up. And what is a leader? What makes a good leader? What's a true leader? Are you a leader when you sign someone up? Kind of. You have the responsibility to manage them and lead them, yes. But does that mean, do you think of someone who's faster or smarter or more knowledgeable or more experienced? Or is it because you can have someone to boss around? Or is it more of a posture of your heart? You know how I can tell by posture, you can tell if someone's interested or bored or tired by their posture. So in your heart, that energy, you can tell. If you're leading with your heart and you care about someone, you can feel it, right? So is your heart prepared? And what about the posture of your hands? I can see hands in those pictures, right? Or the posture of your feet. To do the action, to follow through. I mean, your heart can have great intentions. Good intentions are good, but what does that do for you? It's got to be put to action. Boots on the ground. And when things get hard, who else is going to pull you up by your bootstraps? Have you ever had a 13-year-old and maybe they were being defiant and have you ever tried to put boots on someone who wasn't really willing, or a little wiggly 3-year-old? You can't do it. You have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And being prepared in your action and going out there, you have to think about what kind of action am I going to do? You can't just have good intentions. If you're going to do a job, like if we went bowling, you're going to be thinking about wearing certain shoes. If we're going to go shovel manure, we're going to wear certain shoes. If we're going to go throw those hay bales in Indiana, we're probably going to wear gloves. So being prepared for the action, that shows that you're willing, that you're planning, that you have an open mind and a humble attitude. Otherwise, you'd be like, I can do what I want. I don't need your shoes. But these are work shoes, and that, it's not really work, right? We've already said it's sharing. But I used to think that leadership meant, the person out in front or the person at the top. But truly, it's more about working with, right? Everybody put your right hand out. Now, you're touching your hypothetical, prospective brand partner that has a lot of potential. So you're going to put your arm around them, give them a hug. Now take that shoulder and pull it to the side. Now you've got your arm around them, around their shoulder, and you're shoulder to shoulder, side by side. That's how we lead together, right? We're on the same side. We're going to work shoulder to shoulder. We don't have to be out in front, you know. Really, leadership to me is just doing it. Just do it. You can do it. So, yeah. You know, if I have a good leader to follow and they believe in me and say, I can do it, am I scared? Yeah. Do it scared. You know, do I have faith and trust? Well, yeah, they've proven that, look, you know, it's working for them. Same thing in my sport. When we put our parachutes, our life-saving device, we literally put our life in the hands of our friends. Then we take our life-saving device and we crash it into our friends together, and we trust each other. And those formations are built from the top down, kind of like David, you know, Marcy, Peter. So yeah, it's the same thing. And my first role model was this guy, my grandfather. That's me with him. That's him out on the farm chopping wood. So humble and such a hard worker, and so positive and optimistic and willing to be so resourceful. You know, if that didn't work out, we pick ourselves up, we figure something out. You know, a lot of adversity. And then my big bother, that's not a typo, my big brother, that's me on the red bike with him. Another perfect example of basic humility and not knowing all the answers, not being loud, or just being not exclusive, right? Accepting and patiently persevering through every trial and tribulation. By the way, did we think that God, you know, life was going to be easy? It says it will not be. You will have trials and tribulations. You will have troubles. You will go through the valley, right? And his trademark is right through the valley when things are really awful. He's like, hallelujah. He's thankful. That's what we need to try to be. Right now, I'm standing here. I'm breathing in and out all by myself. You guys have your eyes open. Most of you can see. And that's something to be grateful for. You know, there was a time when I couldn't move at all, and when I didn't have vision, and when I wasn't breathing by myself. And so you got to be thankful. And these people with integrity and generosity, and look what great examples we have. This is all we have to do is follow the leader. How amazing is that? So you guys are blessed. We have so many good examples. That's why I think our company is the fastest growing, right? From the top leader and the side-by-side leadership. Yeah, so in this skydiving journey, it's been interesting. You know, life, it happens, and I don't know if you can tell in this picture, there's one that I'm smiling. For the U.S. team and the red, white, and blue with our medals on, yay. But the others, I'm not really smiling because it's hard. There's frustration. I had to go through the struggle of being a very fast learner and being a cute female in a male-dominated sport. So the rumors were flying. I was stealing her husband and her boyfriend, and I was dangerous, and I was excluded from certain jumps and certain record attempts, and they wouldn't allow me on the team, and I so much wanted to be on the team. I wanted to do my part for the team, but I had to overcome these rumors, and I even stopped wearing bright colors, you know, stepped down for a minute in my, you know, sometimes you have to persevere because we're all flawed humans, and even I can be a little punk sometimes. And so can you guys. Nobody's perfect. Don't be a gooberhead. And try to just persevere through that. When you run into those people, you just have to keep going, because that's what you do as a leader. You just keep going. And when it's tough, you know, you just keep going. Being mislabeled and misunderstood, you have the reflex to be defending yourself. But it doesn't matter, you know. God's got you. He's the only one that's going to be faithful and trustworthy in the end. So he's got to persevere, and he'll have you. And so there's, in Egypt, they don't allow females to do our sport except for that chick right there, just one of the guys. So it ended up, you know, I did get to eventually, through the trials, get to be part of the team there, and we did a lot of demos. And so how does this translate to my life way of business? Of course, the side-by-side leadership and being able to deal with you know, sharing what you're going through in a real way when your people are going through it, and sometimes you run into those goober heads, and we just keep persevering and going forward. So just follow the leader. And that doesn't mean, I mean, we're watching success. It doesn't mean you watch and then you run off and go do your own thing like a Lone Ranger. We don't see a lot of Lone Rangers coming across the stage getting ranking up, right? we want to do what works. So attend those events, read the recommended books, set those goals, stay in alignment with all that positive energy and that love from our LifeWave family and from our patching family, and try to stay humble, because maybe, you know, maybe you're not perfect yet. Looking for ways to improve constantly, and still being a good listener, but maybe setting some good boundaries. We're working on that, right? So it's all about just being real and staying connected and watching and following their lead. That's what I mean, here's a couple other, the same thing, right? We don't want any posers. We need to check your ego at the door. You're not above, you know, David Schmidt or these leaders know what they're doing. We can humble ourselves and say, okay, and that's what I did in the beginning. I thought, you know what, I'm a big girl. I've been successful in my life. I don't need your words or your system. I got this. And, you know, it didn't work. So then I'm like, well, maybe I'll use your words. Thanks, Bob. What about Bob? You know, so like it's already been said, stay teachable, stay coachable. And even when in skydiving, I was a fast learner because I was so coachable. I didn't know enough to be scared. But even if you are scared, do it anyway, right? It's nerve-wracking sometimes saying what you know you should be saying, and resisting the temptation to answer all those initial questions instead of saying, that's a great question. I have a great resource. Be able to try to follow the words and the system, and just know, I can refine this, I can improve this, we can lift others up, we can go side by side, we can do this together. And so same thing, right? Create those action plans, get those leaders with you to co-lead your Zoom team. Now they're in a position. How about if you set the agenda next week? How about if you think of a contest? Engage them, and then that will be what they do with their people, and the leadership goes on. Give them exposure, like my leaders have for me. Put them, listen to them, build their connections. Okay, next month, let's see, or in October, right, we get to go to Anaheim, think about walking across that stage and ranking up, yay! And then in November, right after that, my skydiving team is going to be attempting to break our current world record and get in the Guinness Book again. And the cool thing is, after getting my quietly sort of second place following the leader, they have put me in a lead position for this record attempt, so I get to be the wing leader. There's two of them there, yeah. And they featured me in the video, like, okay, in that video, I want you guys to try to duplicate her. And I was like, it's me. Like, it's not common that I get to, you know, be put in but the team loves communication, so that's all it is just do the work. You know, that's all it is. So I think that's about it. So thanks, guys.